Now today's gospel, you see, contains the prayer, the canticle of Zechariah. And all priests and religious popes and everybody, we say that every day. And lay people who say the office and liturgy of the hours, they also this. And the Bishop Barron, in his reflection this morning, he says that this prayer is especially precious to priests, religious, and all those who pray the liturgy of the hours, the office, on a daily basis. We're called it the Benedictus because of the word Latin. And what's wonderful about this prayer, he says, is that the church asks its ministers to pray in every day that it sums up magnificently the whole history of salvation, putting Jesus and John in the context of the great story of salvation and of Israel. And then he says the Canticle of Zechariah poignantly addresses the infant Baptist. And you can imagine Zechariah looking down at his young son, baby son, and he said, "You, my child, shall be called the prophet of the Most High." And who was the prophet? A prophet was always a spokesperson for God. And so John, all the prophets, Isaiah and Jeremiah, Daniel, Ezekiel, Hosea and Joel, all kind of looked forward. But John was right in between the old and the new, pointing his way to the coming of the Lord. And his role is like all the prophets, he says, the prophet goes before the Lord and to praise him and tell the people to prepare. And then after he explains and after he indicates, he goes out of the way. Now, we Christians, Catholic Christians today, we come to the last day of the Advent time, and of course we are poised to prepare for the birthday of the Lord as we celebrate this evening and tomorrow, and then for 8 days afterwards. In the secular world, it's only one day. For us, it's 8 days of celebration. And we also point at Mary, the Mother of God, because she is very much pivotal to the whole Christmas story and to the history of salvation. She is the ark of the covenant of the old and the new. And I leave you with the story of Wally. Wally was a fourth grader, big for his age. And they were having the Christmas play, and the teacher said, "You're going to be the innkeeper." Well, that saddened him very much. He did not want to be the person who would refuse entrance for the Holy Family. And anyway, she said, "Well, you'll do very well," the teacher told him. So the opening scene was Mary and Joseph knocking on the door of the inn. And then Wally opened the door, and he was consumed with tears. And he said, "You can come in here and you can have my room." And that maybe is the message of Christmas, to make room, you see, for the Lord in our lives, in his teachings, in his liturgies, and in his way of life, making room for the Lord.